gotta
do.
get an introduction?
Just wanted to shout him out here.
Probably not. Anyways.
No introduction?
All right. I'm just kidding. On a serious note, bro, we have our first guest in the house today.
What's up, guys?
We have our first guest in the house.
Excited, man.
I'm excited
Good
too, bro.
guesty here,
Yeah,
dude.
bro. Yeah, bro.
All right, Toons. So,
What's up?
now that it is the new year, do you have any goals that you want to accomplish?
Dude, I have a lot of goals in the pipeline, man. So just overall, like my 5-year goal, starting now by 2030, I want to be able to retire.
Oh,
Like have enough money to be able to retire, but still keep working. But
I like the way you're thinking.
yeah, bro, because like my short-term goals are really just to be able to get into my new place in March and just to be able to stay afloat right now. You know, I'm working on some side hustles. You know, I'm starting this job at a stucco company.
Yeah, dude.
Which is gonna be sick, bro. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
dude.
managing like the teams of the guys who are doing the stucco jobs and the painting jobs and whatnot. It's gonna be a lot though. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be like 40 plus hours a week. And then I have to field calls from customers and whatnot on the weekends, which is I don't really mind.
Do you think that's going to take a lot of your energy away from real estate?
Honestly, you know, real estate hasn't really been working out for me real recently, so I'm not like super concentrated on it right now. I'm just more focused on getting like my money straight so that I can move into my own place soon.
Right.
But I mean, other than that, I'm still going to be making my real estate calls and whatnot and prospecting for real estate on the weekends. And then also I'm going to be starting a drop shipping company as well.
Okay.
Or business, not company. But
Tight.
yeah, dude.
Dude, what the fuck is drop shipping, dog?
Drop
You know
shipping.
Dropshipping? Oh, yeah, dude.
Is it?
Let's hear it.
I have an idea. Can I guess and then can you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
tell me
yeah.
how
I
off
like that. I
am?
like that. Let's go.
Okay. Drop shipping. It's where you buy a product that is cheaper somewhere else, and then you upcharge on a different place.
That's
Is that
pretty
what it is?
correct.
Pretty
Yeah.
much the premise of it, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, like, what I would be doing is facilitating for a distributor, like doing like marketing and stuff for these products, and then I'd be putting on like my own markup on them. So basically,
Yeah.
I'd be buying like
Which is the commish, right?
not like commission per se, but basically
Yeah, 'cause
like
it's not based off that.
right. It's based off of sales, so technically it's like a commission, but it's based off of
Yeah.
like the actual like direct sales from the customer.
Yeah.
So basically, what it would be is like I would be running ads. First you got to do a lot of product research. Like you go on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts and stuff, and see
Yeah.
like which ads are like really selling and stuff for like those products, and then you do like the product research, and you pick a niche too. So like, say I wanted to sell like home decor items or like beauty products and stuff like that. You just find those products that are really hitting on the market right now. So like my forethought is, and this is a little secret knowledge for y'all, just like
Let's
whatever. So like Valentine's Day is coming up. So like stuff like little like stuffed bears and stuff, or like you know, have you seen those like those flowers, like those glass roses on like TikTok or whatever, like for Valentine's Day,
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
like, and then so what happens is like in like the olden days, if you wanted to start like say a t-shirt company, you'd have to buy all the t-shirts yourself, ship them out yourself, and like build like a distributing side of your company. But with drop shipping, you're basically just facilitating for the distributor and selling their products for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
You're the middleman that doesn't have to do shipping, handling, product, really all of that. You're
Right.
just a guy that's connecting the customer to the business. Which is why it's not technically commission. You're not technically a salesperson.
right.
You know, you're technically doing your own business, but it's like a branch off of it. You're almost like a contractor in a sense, to where it's like, hey, if you do good sales and this and that, you're supporting our product. So, you know, they give you some good kickback on stuff. But it is a lot of market research. It's the same thing with Amazon, Walmart, all those things. You'll see a product that's posted by 10 different distributors.
Yeah.
They're working with that company, but they're selling it on their own thing.
Yep.
So, yeah, you can get, businesses with Amazon.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can work
Yep.
with Amazon to do stuff. That's generally the easiest. You can even get to a point to where they hold the products in their warehouse and they just literally ship everything out
Yeah.
for you. So you're just the dude facilitating. It's basically marketing. You're
Yeah.
mainly doing the
Yeah.
marketing, learning how to market, which is just a good thing to learn.
Yeah.
You find a cool product that you actually genuinely like and that can make some profit.
Yep.
And all you're doing is marketing it up at a reasonable price.
Yep.
And just distributing
Like,
it to someone else.
just as an example, there's this guy who, like, you know those, like, back cracker things? Like, you put them behind your back and you, like, pop your back
I
and
think
whatnot?
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this guy on Instagram. He doesn't even show his face. He just, like, he's, like, pretty built. So he just, like, takes off his shirt and, like, just turns around from the camera. And that's, like, those are all his videos on Instagram. And he's getting a bunch of sales.
Dude, it's like that freaking, was it a dude or chick in Powerpuff Girls, dude, that they'd never show the face? Do you remember that?
Oh,
it was
dude.
always like
it was the chick, the tall
Yeah.
chick,
I
right?
think- wasn't it
like
the mom
The
or
mayor.
something?
I thought it was the mayor's girl, the mayor's wife or something like that. The mayor's shawty. Remember the little short mayor
Oh.
with the big nose, and it was his girl in the red dress. They never showed her face.
it was always like neck, right?
yes.
Bro, I always wondered what she looked like, bro.
Dude, they used to do that a lot in like old cartoons. They wouldn't show like the mom's face or like, you know, it was weird.
Dude, it might be to save on animations, bro. I saw this crazy thing about Disney.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that on the first like Disney? Remember when Mickey Mouse was on the boat and it was black and white?
yeah.
Like one of the first Disney things.
Yep.
I heard that like not only just with that, but with their beginning projects, that's the reason Mickey Mouse has gloves and stuff because it's easier to animate, right? Or if they have shoes, you don't have to mess
I've
with the
heard of
toes.
That, man. I've heard of that.
Interesting.
It's like anything you can do like that to kind of like save a little bit of I don't know, storage or time or whatever.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
That is interesting, but I've also seen like even on like recent movie posters and stuff, like if there isn't a female lead role, if there's a female in like the movie poster or whatever, a lot of the times they won't even show their face. It's mostly just like their body, which is weird. Like
Yeah.
it seems to me that like the now we're getting into like more conspiracy theory type stuff.
Let's get it, dude.
Let's
we
get
good,
it, bro.
dude. You
Yeah,
Crazy.
dude, you ain't crazy, bro. It seems to me that like the movie industry in those kinds of things, they want to push like the sexualization of women, which is weird.
It is weird, but it's also not weird because that has always worked forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I completely understand it. It's just like,
But it's weird they don't put their face. It's like,
yeah,
bro,
yeah,
what are you
It's like-
what are you doing? Like if it's like Scarlett Johansson, you're gonna get more views by putting her face in there,
yeah,
bro.
exactly.
I don't know.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, that is weird, bro.
Yeah, I agree. That is pretty weird.
Like I can't think of an example of a movie.
Yeah, I was,
Where
trying to,
it's
I was,
just
I was trying to
like-
think of some, but that's very
Yeah.
interesting to me that they're just like, nah, we don't need to worry about the face. We'll just
Yeah.
go straight.
That's
Yeah,
so
buddy.
weird, bro.
Like, bro, there was
Yikes.
dude, I used to watch a bunch of conspiracy theory videos when I was like 15.
Oh yeah.
And like, dude, there
Sure.
was this one where what's his name? There's some guy on YouTube. I forget. Is Shane something?
Besides Gillis, bro, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, like
yeah, honestly, yeah.
or O'Neal, the skater. Other than that,
Yeah.
Was
yeah.
it like older when you were younger? The only one I could think of that did kind of conspiracy stuff back then was like Shane Dawson.
That's who. it
That
was.
sounds familiar,
Shane
honestly.
Dawson. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he I used to watch a bunch of his conspiracy theory videos, and there was one where he was talking about like this like faceless woman thing.
Why is there no head on the woman in the clothing ads? That's a very simple answer. Modeling agencies charge less money if the model is unrecognizable. But movie posters are where the headless woman has really taken over.
And he was on a bunch of posters, bro. A bunch of movie posters. A lot of them have like that their face blocked out, which is weird.
Okay.
It's
So
interesting.
there's so that's kind of
It's like a trend almost.
do you
It's
guys
like-
think it's like a mystery thing? Like, but then who's gonna watch a movie? Who's gonna buy a ticket to a movie that's like, I just want to see what she looks like? Like,
That
you
is
need to be
true.
a little bit more invested, I think, for
Yeah.
most people.
for the mystery side? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's the deal with that, bro?
I don't know. It's
I can't like think
The
about.
thing is, it is a lot about faces. Face reveals, I think, are definitely a big thing in movies. When we think of even like The Mandalorian, for example, the whole time people are like, "I want to see how this dude looks." I
Yeah.
wonder if there's some kind of correlation with that.
it's like Marshmallow.
yeah, dude.
Yeah,
honestly.
like it's always the face reveal. Like, I don't know why people. Maybe there's some with that where they're just like, "I want to see what this dude looks like. See the face."
so
Yeah.
interesting.
But
It
it's
is.
also like in Marshmallow's case, he's just concealing his privacy. Like he just wants that privacy. You know, if
Right.
he could just be a normal dude walking down the street, no one knows.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I
understand.
mean? So
It's a good
Totally
point.
get it.
yeah, there's definitely like perks. to
Absolutely.
It's
it.
kind of like
smart.
MF Doom,
Kind of. Yeah.
right? I don't remember seeing him ever without the mask. I don't know though. I've never looked up photos, but
Yeah, what's funny
Yeah.
is that it's in that industry because it's also in the. I remember growing up in the video game industry a lot.
Mm.
You would have these gamer dudes that you watch and you're like, this guy's sick, but all you hear is their voice chat. You're just
Yeah.
watching the gameplay,
that's
and
true.
then like they would have some face reveal like 15 years later or
Yeah.
something.
And it gets
Yeah.
like 50 million views. Like
It's
like
true.
the
Dead Mouse.
Vanos one.
Who'd
like,
that be?
Vanos,
Bro, when Vanos did
huge
his
gamer.
yeah.
Who's Vanos?
Vanos was he's a YouTuber that had a group of other dudes that did YouTubing stuff. Blew up really big in the Call of Duty days. Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2.
Gmod and GTA 5.
And Gmod, they were
Oh.
huge. Yeah.
Huge, bro.
Dude, these guys still to this day, like 30 million is what I think like Wildcat has. Vanos is probably
Yeah.
around 100 million. Like
Subs?
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
subs like
Wow.
a
Yeah, they're
lot,
still
dude.
popping, bro.
And they just play games consistently and they drop like every day. Dude.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
Their
And it's
content
just-
creation is nuts.
And it's honestly, I haven't watched it in a while, but I love that as a kid. It was just
Yeah.
so entertaining. It reminded me of, like, playing with the boys, just like a
Yep.
group of homies.
Yep.
It was cool just to see the dudes getting down and to see it's like this much longer and they're still doing
and
it,
they're
bro.
still doing
That's
it, bro.
true.
Which is sick,
Dope.
bro.
Yeah.
That's true.
Freaking sick. That's how I hope we're gonna be with our music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just, we're in our 40s, and we're just like, bro, let's drop some bars.
Bro, fuck
you know?
40s. Look at Pete and Boss, bro.
Big man, she's a bit too late, so I tell her come and sit a Brazilian butt dang.
Oh,
yeah.
dude,
You know what I'm talking
those
about?
older,
Oh, yeah.
those old heads, right?
Bintinton.
Yeah, bro.
Dude,
yeah,
those guys are so dope. Bro.
yeah,
They
bro,
go
I
hard.
love
I
those
hope
guys.
I'm like that, dude.
That would
Yeah,
be sick,
same.
bro. I
Yeah.
hope so too.
I hope
man.
I really want to have it when I'm older, bro. You know
Yeah,
what I
that'd be
mean?
so
Like, I want to be a
sick.
cool old dude that's like, I
Yeah.
still got it. You know what I
Still
mean?
got it, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Like, how would you guys feel if, like, either your dad, probably grandparent, what if, like, your grandparent was, like, a sick musician, bro?
Oh, dude,
Wouldn't that be cool?
that would be so
That'd be
sick.
crazy.
Like just jam out with your grandpa or
Yeah,
something,
bro.
Like, yeah, dude.
And also, like, once they pass, that's something you could remember them by, too. Like,
Like-
listen to their songs and,
yeah, dude.
you know?
That's
Like
the thing about
especially
music, yeah.
if they have like a big legacy too. Like if they're really well known.
Yeah.
It's not like Dr. Dre being your grandpa.
Bro, I'm
You
sure
know what I
Dr.
mean?
Dre's, like, kids, there's already people that are going to look after them.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're
It's
really like setting up future generations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly. The legacy and no, it's crazy.
Yeah,
People with
dude.
that status.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
respect the mundo, dude.
Respect, bro.
Yeah, respecty, bro.
And then plus the longer you do it, the more skilled you get.
Yeah, as long
Kind
as
of
you
the way of the
learn.
world. Yeah. As long as you're open to learn.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're closed-minded, you.
Yeah, like, you could be ignorant the whole time.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Yep,
Man.
absolutely. That's freaking.
What about you guys? The original question was like, what are your guys' New Year's?
Oh, yeah,
plans?
huh?
Like, what are you guys thinking?
Take it off, Dom? Let's hear it, bro.
I'm scared.
Oh
Don't be
no.
One of couple of my things for this year that I want to do is number one, make my body and mind more of a focus. So that's going to have to deal with working out. It's going to have to deal with meditation. It's going to have to deal with reading. It's going to have to deal with writing. And I think that is that's one of the ones that's in the category of it's going to improve everything. When you have your body and mind in order, there's not much that can take you down.
That is true.
So that's my plan. That's kind of like the overarching one. A couple of other like smaller ones would be like I'm gonna do no vaping again this entire year.
Good.
Because I just finished the whole
Yeah.
year, and it was good, man. Zins are great. You know. So yeah, I want to go another year just to make sure, because I feel like a year isn't quite enough to be like done. Because I could just go to the vape store tomorrow and just get instantly hooked again.
Yep. It's easy.
So yeah, it's not for me personally. It's not quite enough time. So there's that. I also want to limit my bud consumption. So I just need things to be a little bit more clear for me. A little bit less anxiety. And then as far as financial goals, I would absolutely love to pay off my credit cards.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not only pay off my credit cards, but hopefully also save up a K.
Mm.
So that's kind of my financial, body, mind, whatever goals
Heck yeah.
so far.
That's good, bro.
Those sound
That's good.
great, dude.
Thanks,
All of those
man.
sound awesome, man.
Thank you, bro.
That's good that you seem like honed in. I think it's cool to utilize the new start of the year and actually like hone into something. It seems like you kind of planned on what you want to do.
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
awesome.
I've always been that type of guy.
Nice.
Like, I always, like, look for opportunities to change. And New Year's has
Word.
always been one of those, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I like the way you put that. 100%.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
That's
That's cool. That's what I like about New Year's, man. I think for me, the stuff I'm working on. I liked what you said earlier about a 5-year plan. I've always kind of had that. You know,
True.
so some stuff changes
Long-term
year to year,
thinking.
but
Yeah.
always long term. That's just kind of how I think on things. So for me, it's kind of just setting up my long term to be in a better position by 30. You know, kind of like
Yeah.
how you're saying where you want to
Yeah.
be by 30. You know, same thing with me. I think mainly the thing I want to work on is prioritizing things and getting better at prioritizing things. Not necessarily, I mean, you could put it under like time management kind of, but like since we all have 24 hours in the day, it's just me more actually prioritizing what I want to do.
Okay.
And then that's going to fit into a time frame.
So how do you see what's, like, your current day and what do you want, like, your days to be like? Like, what would you kind of, like, shift, even if it's something small?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would that be to make it more time efficient, I guess, for what you want to do?
And like more
Right.
on track with your goals.
Yeah, just more on track with my goals, more productive days to where like each day stands out more. I think for me at the moment, it would be definitely working on health things, just having that always in daily routines.
Like working out and stuff? Or?
Yeah, working out and stuff, and just scheduling things as well, making sure to be on top of it, with that kind of stuff. Like I was using my app more and then creating my daily tasks that I do and then having subtasks under that and just making sure working on the consistency, because then you kind of know the results that you're getting back. So I'm really trying to break down, obviously that's why we do 5-year game plans, trying to break down what do I got to do to be here in 5 years. Right.
And then do you guys work backwards from that?
Yeah, you work backwards. You just work backwards. Okay, cool. I'm all the way back here. I have to do this for the next 5 years every year. This is the main goal this year. What do I got to do every month to get to that main goal? Right. So whatever it is, I have a lot of goals written out on my thing. So I'm always constantly trying to work towards something. I always have new goals. To me, it is every year, but it's always like there's goals that are just consistently probably going to be on with my whole life.
Yeah,
and
which
it's
is
also
learning
good
to prioritize.
Yeah, of course. And it's also really good to write down your goals so you can actually visualize what's happening. And that's something I haven't done it yet this year, but that's what I'm going to be doing in the next probably like week or two.
Dude, it's the best thing because, they even say based on research, when you write it down, you just usually it'll stick in your brain more.
Yeah.
And what I've done is just get an app. Apps are simple. You can do it on there. And if you just type it in and you set reminders to times where you do certain things. So that's the thing, is I have to visualize how my day is going and really break down what I do in a day. And then kind of think where my mindset is in that time of the day. Obviously, some people are more awake in the morning. Some like this boost energy at night or whatever it is.
Some eat a heavy lunch and then crash.
Totally.
Yeah.
So it's like, where do you want to work out? This works best for me. So it's really looking at where, okay, I'm like, at the end of the day after work, I feel like I have so much time to do stuff. So I'm like, I feel like I actually need to utilize that time more and then prioritize things that I want to put, in that day. And I think the main things for me is to prioritize actually making more money with my time. Totally big thing. And then also traveling more, having more days where I have memorable things to where it doesn't seem like a repetitive year and week, because last year for me kind of seems like that.
Is that where snowboarding helps? Where it's like a little bit of a refresher that comes into a monotonous routine?
Yeah, it's been a big thing of that actually. Is that's kind of helped me want to, I did a decent amount of traveling last year, so that's helped a lot. But yes, doing an activity of just getting out and, I've been doing it every weekend. And for me, it's like a new thing that I look forward to every weekend. So it's already making my schedule more interesting for me just to enjoy life more.
It almost reminds me of school. Sorry to interrupt, but just like when you know the weekend's coming, bro, on a Friday, there's no compatible feeling.
Yeah,
bro.
you just don't care at that point. You're just like, bro, I can't wait for the weekend.
Yeah, and I think it's because we have a schedule, so then we value the time more. So I am trying to value my time more and also value the things I prioritize more. So when it's like, this is the hour I'm doing this, because I know this is how it's going to help me. I'm not doing anything. I'm focusing on this. So then it makes the rest of the hours and the days I have feel more fulfilling, because I'm like, I got it all done.
So you're talking about like time blocking in a way?
Absolutely, because the thing is nowadays is we always have, I talk about this sometimes, is our energy is one thing that's being exerted all the time, and a lot of people demand it now more than ever, because it's a lot easier to grab your attention and to be pulled away from it. So things like notifications, whatever it is, certain stuff like that. And just the way I think, my brain works a lot. So for me to stay focused, I can focus no problem if I tell myself to lock in on it. But I know a second something happens, just how the human brain works, we do get pulled away from that naturally.
That is true.
Because we don't double task. That's just not how the brain works. We do task by task.
Yep.
So so I feel like things like that can kind of pull that away. So yes, like creating, that's what I mean by prioritizing my time more. That's how I'm kind of managing time, even though we all have the 24 hours. It's just like, what do I want in this time?
It just matters what you do with the time that you're already given, naturally.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like when things get repetitive for me, I'm like, okay, so in this time I haven't done enough stuff to experience life. For me, life's about experience things. So I'm like, if I don't have any memories from this last month, I probably didn't really do anything that interesting this last month for me to. And I want some stuff to experience. I just want to experience some more life.
Because in that way, it's less of like a time blend where it's like always like this monotonous thing. You have these cool little sparks in there, man, and it's like things to look forward to and stuff.
Yep.
Totally.
All right, so I have a question for you guys.
What's up?
Say that you have notifications, right? Like you're gonna do this at this time. That time comes around, you forget about it. You're not in the mood or whatever. What do? And why do you do it?
That is a really good question. I know for me, because I actually have in my calendar, I block out certain days, like especially on the weekends and stuff. Like I literally have time blocked out from like 12 to 5, and I don't really follow it too strictly right now. I'm gonna try to be more strict about it. But like from 12 to 5 on Sundays and Saturdays, it's music time. So like in when I don't do like, and also for on Wednesday, or sorry, not Wednesdays, Sundays, after like music, it's like 12 or 6 to 8 is like my chores. So like doing like cleaning up my room, cleaning my bathroom, vacuuming, wiping dust off, whatever, for like the next week. You know what I mean? So I have like a fresh start to the week. And when I don't do that, I'm just like, low key, I feel like disappointed. I'm like, oh, I should have done that. You know, especially like that night if I'm laying in bed and I'm like, I didn't do what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Then it's just like, dang,
That's
a
the
bummer.
worst, man. When
Yeah.
you don't do what you know you needed to do and you could have.
Right.
Yeah.
It's different, right? If you got in a car crash and you're all fucking laid up in the hospital
Yeah,
bed,
right.
it's
Totally.
different, man, if you didn't hit your daily goals.
Right.
But if you could have done it, then it's almost like you should be disappointed with yourself
Right.
at a healthy level to the
Yeah.
point where it's enough pain that you don't do it again.
Right.
Hopefully, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And at least for me, and then we'll move on to what you were going to say about it too. But for me, like that disappointment is like, it's so low right now that like, I don't really care if I don't do the thing again.
Right.
So
So you're not reminded of that feeling.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think that really all stems from like dopamine. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
once you've been like doom scrolling for hours a day, like
Yeah.
your dopamine is through the roof and then you just crash and then you're like, oh, I'm not.
Yeah, and what
motivated.
else in real life is going to compare to that dopamine hit that you get off your social media?
Mhm.
Not much, bro.
Not much, unless you're like, for me, it seems like paychecks. You know what I mean? Like putting in hard work
Yeah.
to get in that paycheck. That's
100%.
where I'm trying to switch my dopamine to. Instead of
Yeah.
stuff on screens, it's more of like action. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, that's like how people talk about the dopamine detoxes.
Yep.
You know? So that you can get your equilibrium to the point where it's like you can actually feel that like, okay, eating breakfast feels good.
Yeah.
Instead of it just being like another thing. You
Right.
can actually appreciate the smaller things
That
because
is
you
true.
have less dopamine overall coming into your system, so then you start to appreciate smaller things.
Mm.
I don't know.
fire.
I've never done a dopamine detox though. I mean, I guess in certain areas, right?
Sure.
Like you take it away from like vaping or whatever, but
Right.
like,
Like-
never
like
like
fasting in
completely.
a way.
I don't think you could ever completely, because like your thoughts create dopamine. If you're looking forward towards a goal, you're gonna release dopamine,
That's
right?
what I was
That
gonna
is true.
say. It's the revolving cycle. Even kind of back to. I actually kind of talked about this a little bit last time. It's kind of like the yin and yang, kind of revolving around it, to where when you do something, you feel a certain way, and when you feel a certain way, you do something. So it is a revolving
Yes.
cycle. So sometimes to get that initial spark, you have to think. I talked about this last time. Thinking long term, thinking futuristic, because that's when you think of how my actions cause my results.
Right.
So when you think in the future, it's like, okay, if I do this, I'm going to feel this way, but it's also going to create this, which also makes me feel this way. It's a revolving cycle.
Right.
So,
that
Yeah, it's the question. I don't know if you've ever heard the question where people say, is happiness before or after? It's actually both.
right. Or the motivation one. Do you feel motivation before or after? Most of the times you're gonna feel it after.
Yep.
Sometimes you'll feel it before, but it's not good to base your decisions on that.
Right. But the
That's
way you
true.
create it before is what you said. You think it, you actually can control your own emotions in that way by activating that emotional thing by saying, by doing these things, it makes me happy. So then it's just a thought.
Or-
It doesn't even have to be a feeling anymore. It's just a reaction to it. Where
And
you're
not
like,
even
"This makes me
necessarily a
happy."
thought, but a mindset.
Yeah.
It's all about mindset. At least because like for me, when I don't feel motivated to do things that I know I'm supposed to do, it's because I'm like thinking about it in a negative way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
So-
you're like, oh fuck, like I have to do this, instead of like, by doing this, it's gonna put me in a better position tomorrow,
Right.
which is gonna allow me more time to do this.
That's that long-term
I think the
thinking.
hardest part
Yeah.
though is just in that moment of that feeling of non-motivation to get yourself in that state. That's why I asked you guys, if you have something that comes up on your phone that you know you need to do and you don't feel like doing it, like how do you get through that? Like what's your actual thought process? Where do you go?
Yeah, I have literally
In order
one
to get
trick.
there.
I have one trick that's worked. The trick that I've always done is the second I feel I'm unmotivated, that's when I say I need to do it. I've created a link and now a
Oh.
click where it's like, I really don't want to do it. Then now I'm like, I have to do this now.
Right.
So now
Okay.
I've created this loop where that's the action. The feeling of, I don't want to do it is now is actually the catalyst to doing it.
All right, can I ask you a question? How long did it take you of doing that until it became automatic? And at first, was it like really hard?
Yeah, definitely hard, and it still always is hard. But it was from observing people and looking at people that were like, all this stuff's behind fear, and all these things are just thoughts. And if you can control your thoughts by just creating a new connection in your brain to where it's like, this is my now new reaction, because reactions are based on your thoughts, which are based in feelings
and habits and patterns, right?
Yeah. So and you have to be able to regulate and control those. And oftentimes they say we have 90% of the same thoughts throughout the day.
Yes.
So all you got to do is try to create that new connection and really drill into that new connection.
And see, that's the hardest part, bro, is realizing even what thoughts you're having, because they're so automatic, so daily basis, that how do you even realize it if it's a part of your reality? How do you differentiate your reality from your thoughts if you feel like your thoughts are your reality?
Right.
That's a good point.
And that's the cool thing about when they talk about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind.
Yes,
the reason we're able to have this conversation is because we're conscious that we're having this conversation.
We're
We're not just a robot that's set in this rhythm. We are very habitual. You know, we've said that people, follow these routines and patterns. So in a way, we kind of have that kind of computer-like thing, but then we're also able, they say the other 10%, we're able to change our mindset and do something different about it. That's the beautiful thing about humans.
Yeah.
That conscious mind we talk about.
Yes.
And if you're able to tap into that, there's plenty of ways to do it. We talk about meditation and certain things, but there's
That's
also
a big one for me.
legit on a scientific level, the brain waves you go into. Brain waves.
Alpha, beta, theta.
Yeah. So when you're going into that's why they say when you're younger, all the way generally from like 2 to 7, those are the times where you're just straight up receiving information.
Very impressionable, right?
Yeah, so really not a lot of, you're not very conscious. That's why I've seen a lot of videos of people like snap into consciousness. They're like, I don't know what happened the rest of my years. You're just receiving information. That's why a lot of stuff
completely
affects
present.
people that even if it was 30 years ago from their childhood, it's because they internalize it. That's what you do when you're younger. You internalize it a lot.
Yes.
You do this the same before
Yes.
you're going to sleep and waking up. You're in that very relaxed state. That's why meditation puts you in a not quite asleep, but a sleep state. So
less conscious than normal.
Yes,
day-to-day
because
life.
then you lock into the conscious more, and you could actually almost pull that conscious out of the subconscious, and now you're listening to your subconscious thoughts.
Right.
So you're like, okay, I'm thinking this, I react this way to this. Now, how do I change that reaction?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially if it's negative.
Yeah.
Yes,
Especially,
bro.
but honestly, even if it's positive too, like if you're having a positive reaction or a positive thought to something that's negative, then that's something to be looked at as well.
Absolutely.
Keeping yourself in check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really just consistently be inward looking, I think. And it's uncomfortable for a lot of people. And I think that if we can change that mindset where it's actually fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's where because then think about it in that long-term mindset again. You're like, man, if I really just think about this and do this, I know in the future, it's going to help this and that. What do I have to do now in my present moment to create this future I want for myself?
Yes.
And you can even have that attitude of like, oh man, I gotta do this thing, but I'm still gonna do it. As long as you still do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's that
bro.
mindset there.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
like the
bro.
Nike. Just do it.
Yeah,
Just
just do it.
do it.
Just
Then-
Nike it, bro.
Then you get results. That's
Hey,
the
it's
thing.
good on the slogan.
You get, well, we talked about last time, like feedback. Now you get immediate feedback. Now you understand how things work more. You become more intelligent to where you can operate around the world more just because you did the thing and you got results. And now you're like, cool, that didn't work. I actually feel better it didn't work because now I know I'm not doing that in the future. I just saved myself hurt in the future by doing it right now.
That
Yeah.
makes a lot of
Knocked it
sense.
out. My
It's
future's
true.
about to be better because now I know. Let's try the opposite. There's a better chance it's gonna work now. This route didn't work. Let's see this route. Now I feel better because I'm like,
Yeah, man.
that's why L's are awesome. When you take an L, you're like, cool. Just
Yes.
life, you don't win all the time.
Yeah, it's
That's
almost
true.
like your success is based off of your relationship with failure. If you have a good relationship with it, you learn off of it. You understand what you're not going to do next time. But if you take it in a way of like, maybe it's like, this is a signifying factor that means I'm not good enough, and this is evidence, you're going to take it differently. And the way that you're going to take that is not productive because there's nothing you can do to fix that if you think you're just fucked up. What can you do to fix that?
Right.
But if you think that the situation, you just have to approach it differently, then you can grow and work. But if you don't even have that mindset, bro, then you can't even get yourself further.
And that's being open-minded.
Yeah.
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 If you're not open-minded, you have no room for growth.
Yeah.
Especially when
That's
it comes
true.
to like that internal monologue of like, oh, I feel horrible about myself, or what. If you can't snap out of that and realize why it's happening, there's no room to get out of that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's really like, honestly, that kind of describes like the past couple of months that I've had.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of
brother.
having that internal monologue and just really acting upon changing it and finding out the reasons why it's happening. And that's why I'm getting so busy now with like 3 jobs. I'm gonna have like 3 jobs now.
Yeah.
Is because a lot of it was because I wasn't working.
Yeah, you're just,
Was it a
you're
lot
just
of,
thinking?
I was just
Yeah.
stagnant. You know
Like
what I
maybe
mean?
financial stress.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, it's just the thing I was talking about earlier too. If they have a certain amount of energy to exert, the reason why exercising and doing a lot of stuff is great is because when you sit down, it's just straight. You're just using your brain, you get tired. You literally get so worn out
Mm.
because you're not physically using anything else. So your body's
Yeah.
like, I got this energy today. I got to use it, man. We're using it up here. And then
Yes.
your thoughts can start getting
Yeah,
rampant
bro.
Yeah.
and start going. And then your emotional state's not good either.
Yeah.
You don't
That's
have a
true.
good balance. If you're not eating right, you're not exercising, you don't have a good time schedule, your balance is off whack. So then you don't even know. And then that's the thing is when you're in that mindset, you're just so much in a fear and emotional mindset instead of thinking, boom, back to logical.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they're both emotional is very strong, but paired with logical.
Right.
That's just how it works. Or else you're just in an emotional mindset and then you become a victim of your own emotions.
And it's also
Yes.
important to realize how you can separate the emotional mindset from the logical mindset, right? Because if you're emotional when you need to be logical, things can go wrong.
Yep.
Or if you're logical when you need to be emotional, you could come off a certain way.
Yeah.
Like especially in
Absolutely.
like relationships and stuff.
Absolutely.
If say your girl's like really emotional, someone just died in her family, and you're like, well, what are we gonna do? Like, if you don't feed into that and like try to like help in a way, like be in that more emotional mindset of like, all right, how are you
Yes.
feeling? Like, how can we move forward? Like, what, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
I remember Will Smith talking about he had troubles with that because his whole life was pure discipline. If you don't feel like doing it, you do it because you're that guy.
right,
And then when he had his family, when his kids started having emotions and feelings, he had that same attitude of like, get over it. That's it. Like, whatever. And then he realized that with a family, that's not the best mindset, right? So like with different relationships in your life, you might have to hold different, I don't know. You're different depending on that different scenario.
Right.
Yeah.
So like he realized that with his family, he had to be a little bit more emotional, because as a father, emotionally, you want to be there for your kids.
of course,
And so it's a balance, right? Because you also want them to be disciplined. You also don't want them to be like a big pussy where they're like anytime where they're emotionally reacting,
Totally.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's where that, especially in like a father-like position or father figure position, that's when that more logical side can come out.
Yeah.
Of like,
But it's hard, right? Because
Yeah.
he's gotten all of his life success through
Right.
discipline.
That
So
is
why
true.
wouldn't you put that on your kids, right?
that's a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
That is a very
Yeah,
good
it's
point.
big with fathers, and it's actually very big in business. A lot of leaders have this mentality. I built this whole thing here and there, and it's hard for them to get out of that mindset. But what I see with really good leaders is like, obviously, you have to be at a certain standard. You got to do your job. There's obviously that side of things, the whole logical side of things. But then if you have a person that's coming up, and a good leader and a good boss would be like, hey, are you like emotionally doing okay? Like, what's going on? Like, I
Yes,
see you're
because
slacking a little bit on this. Like, let's. I think I need to talk to you more on the emotional side. Let's talk about this. And it comes down to the individual, how people deal with stuff. I grew up on tough love. I personally work really well with that, just the way my mindset is. But there's people in my life I would never talk to that way, because then they take
Yeah.
it in the bad way. It's like, this dude's attacking me. The more you get used to it, it's like now I actually converse really well on that stage.
Yes.
But I know so many people I can't. Even if I would talk to myself that way, it's being empathetic, which I think is a very superpower to talk about, and that's understanding emotions, which is very important because people are emotional. That's what makes us cool. Is humans are emotional. And I think that's the cool side of it. And then understanding what emotions certain people have. Certain people are angry about certain things. Certain people are sad about certain things. And I think the best way to come from it is from that empathetic standpoint, because then it's like, I'm just trying to be understanding. I'm not trying to impose on your stuff, but I need to know what you're going through to have a good conversation. Now our connection's stronger. We can converse better next time.
Yeah.
So we know how to deal with these situations. That's what good bosses and leaders do. You want to feel comfortable to be like, I'm not going to lie, man, I'm going through some emotional stuff. And feel comfortable enough to be like, I can talk to this dude about that.
And friends.
Right.
That's
And
the thing. That's really good friends. You can get deep. People say that, like, good friends, we go below the surface level stuff.
Yep.
I'm not a person that I really go to that stuff, but I have a lot of friends that do. And I want to be available when that happens, in those certain aspects. And
You
I
want to be
think
like
that's
the
most important.
the backbone to them in a sense, like it during those times.
Dude, I love that stuff. Like, for me, it's you could even say it's like a selfish thing, but I genuinely like helping people and seeing them happy. And I think I have a good understanding of those things from being empathetic and understanding people.
Yeah.
I'm a human too. I've gone through these emotions, and I really broke it down and understood the emotions. Like, why am I mad right now? So when I see someone going through some certain, I don't impose it. I don't think right away like, hey, you're mad for this reason. No, that's the know-it-all, not open-minded mindset, like you said. Versus like, I'm super open-minded. I want to understand why you're going through this. It would actually benefit me just to understand how the world works more.
Yeah.
And maybe I can help you.
Exactly.
Or if you just see someone to hear you out, like, I'm here. It helps me and it helps you vent.
Yeah, because sometimes like even when I'm going through my own mental thing, like it's just having an ear there, not even necessarily like a conversation.
Right.
Just having someone to like listen to what I'm going through is just like it's cool.
Yeah, because sometimes you just want, you just need to vent, but you might not be in the place to receive advice, bro.
That is true.
And I think that's a big thing. Sometimes
That's a
when
great
people
way to put
ask
it.
for help, they might not ask for help because every time everyone always tries to give them advice, you know?
That is true.
Dude, you nailed it. Literally, like that's the best way to put it. Is because I have like even my little sister, and a lot of other people around me. Like I want to give them advice, but when they're asking for the advice, so all I really say to them is like, let me know if you need advice. Like if you look up to me and you think I got some information, I would love to help you out, but I'm not gonna impose it on you.
Yeah.
You know, if you need to talk to someone how you're feeling.
Yeah.
And generally, I try to get people comfortable like that to where they generally do get deeper in it, and they're like, I'm coming to you about my emotional stuff. I actually appreciate your opinion on stuff. If they ask that,
That's good.
you know, 'cause
Yeah.
I love the way you put that because I think it makes people uncomfortable and they don't want to go to you if you're the advice guy that's like, oh, I'll tell you exactly how to do this.
Yeah,
It's like,
and
I don't want to
especially-
hear that.
know.
And especially if it's like really unwarranted. Like if they're just coming to you for an ear and they say that up front, and then you're like, oh, well, then you got to do
Right.
this.
And that's why it's important just as a friend to let the other friend or family member know that, like, because I've had family do that to me. They're like, just so you know, like, you can come to me like for advice, or it could just be for venting.
Yeah, man. Or you just
know?
want to hang out and do something cool. Yeah, just be
Right.
like, I'm
Or maybe
available.
get your mind off.
Yeah.
Totally. That's another great way to go about it. It's like some people don't even like to talk. Me, I'm actually one of those people. I feel worse about it when I talk because I'm very prideful in dealing with emotions and stuff by myself.
makes
So for me, I have no problem. I generally don't like having those conversations.
Yeah.
For me, I actually come out of it in more of a negative mindset. That could be my own,
I just
my own
hope-
mindset.
I hope that never becomes a problem to the fact where if you needed help, that pride would get in the way of like you
Yeah.
couldn't even ask somebody. I just
Yeah.
hope that never gets
No,
in the way.
it's only in the case of emotions. I understand emotions very well. I will never need somebody else to help me with my own emotions. I feel like I'm an adult and it's something that I can always handle emotionally.
That's good.
But if it comes to a situation where I'm like, I am stressing because of the financial situation, I know someone that's good at finances. I'm not going to go to them because I'm stressed. I'm going to go to them
Oh,
because you
interesting.
might have you
You're
might
gonna
have
go to them
information
because of the problem, not because of what you're
yeah.
feeling about. The
So I
problem.
don't think emotional. I think very logical a lot of the time. I do love emotions. I think they're very powerful. So I use that emotion of I'm stressed, for sure stressed out. Why am I stressed? My bills aren't great. Financials, what do I got to do? Let's figure out. Either I go to someone, one of my homies that's really good at that, or I do my
Yeah.
own research and look it up. I
Yes.
think if you have someone that's available, though, it's like go to them.
So
You know
basically,
I'm saying?
what you're saying is that you use your pain as like a guidance to where you should like be putting your energy instead of just being like, oh fuck.
Or like as a crutch, not as a crutch. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Right.
good.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it's actually a powerful thing. When I get in an emotional state, I'm like, oh, this is a challenge. I got to handle this. Why am I feeling like this? This is some, and for me, the only time I would probably vent, I wouldn't even be venting because if I'm talking to someone about it, it would be to come up with a solution with that person.
Yeah.
I always think very problem solving mindset. So if I sit down with the homie, I'm like, man, this stuff is stressing me out, but I want to talk about it on a logical level. How can we solve this if you're down to talk about it? So I go
Yeah.
right to that. I go right to advice. I want your advice if I go to you as a homie.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I generally don't ever want to vent. I can't really think of any times where I wanted to. So for me, it's like getting advice because then I feel like for me, that's an awesome connection because then the person appreciates that I went to them.
Right.
And then, and I like that about, I try to keep my friend group like that where it's like we can all learn stuff off each other because
Yep.
we totally can. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I've always said with you, I've always complimented you on the creative side of things. Even if I'm not in a creative mindset, I appreciate your creative side of things. So I actually appreciate your creative input. So if I'm looking into something creative, I'm like, oh, dude, Dom's sick at this. I'm going to look at him on the creative side of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I have friends that hit those, different points. I enjoy doing stuff with people, but I don't want to ever be in a point where, or in a situation where I'm like, oh, I really need someone emotionally right now. I've always been able to
Yeah.
regulate that and handle it.
And I do think that's awesome for you, but for anybody listening, because I'm more of the emotional guy.
Yeah, right.
Like
Yeah.
definitely, like if you do need help, like for sure reach out, bro.
Yes,
Yeah.
please reach
'Cause
out.
that's one of
Yeah.
the hardest things for me, bro. Is to like ask for help because it's like an admittance of weakness,
Right.
which
Right.
as a
It's
man
not.
especially you
Yeah.
do not want to do.
No, and I
you
don't
know?
think
Yeah.
it's weak. I love that you're
And it's
changing that
not.
mindset of it. It's
Yeah.
not.
It's not, but that's generally how it's.
It's actually
perceived.
pretty strong for you to be able to come out with everything, like emotionally speaking. That's what I've actually
Yes,
just
dude.
learned really recently is like I've kept all these negative feelings just like suppressed in my body. You know what I mean? And it's just it starts to well up and that bottle cap starts to
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, dude.
undo. And then once if you don't at least pour out a little bit
Yeah.
every once in a while, it's just gonna freaking explode.
So where did you
Totally,
start,
man.
bro? Was it kind of like, was it like hey parents, like this, like how did you even get started like expressing it from it being bottled in?
So that's actually a really interesting question because my roommate who I'm living with right now, he was kind of seeing that I was going down a little bit of a south spiral, you know what I mean? It's kind of going downhill. And that's in regards to like not working as much and stuff like that. And he could see it in my face and in my eyes that I wasn't doing okay.
Your vibe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he came up to me and he was like, bro, you good? Like, and then we had a great conversation and he really kind of like booted me back up into gear, which is great.
Sick.
You know?
And then was it that made you realize, oh, like this
Yeah.
is actually very valuable?
Very valuable, dude. That's part of the thing that I got out of it. And it's a little bit more private, so I'm not going to expose it on a
Right.
podcast, but yeah, he really kind of kicked me back into gear and because of that, I've been like, okay, so because like, and there's certain situations where you can unbottle that your feelings and not put them on people, but like tell people about them. And then there's other times where it's like, no, you kind of just gotta like suppress it a little bit and keep trucking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's certain times for it.
It's
and
just dangerous. It depends on your personality, bro.
That is
It
true.
really
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. That's what I'm saying. It depends how you deal with it. I believe I'm very emotionally intelligent. I don't get in spells where I'm like upset for a long time. I
Sure.
don't. I get
Right.
angry. I go to anger. I step outside for 5 minutes. I come back in. We're all good. We're
Meaning
right back to it.
that
Yep.
your approach is going to be different from your approach.
Exactly.
It's going to be different from my approach.
Totally.
Absolutely
And that's
correct.
the cool thing about empathy is understanding everyone's stuff by having combos like this.
Yes, bro.
And being like, how can I help you deal?
Yes.
Help you deal with this and that, you know?
Yeah.
And then, just by being more comfortable to be like, I'm comfortable having these kind of conversations with this kind of moment and stuff like that. Like, yeah, no, exactly. I think that's the beauty in relationships, is just being able to converse and
100%,
really
bro.
understand to the best of your ability by having a good combo.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
by really genuinely having empathy and caring for someone.
Yep.
It's
And that's like unbottling that bottle or uncapping that bottle and pouring a lot of
Yeah.
it out too.
Yep.
Especially if you go into like 3-hour conversations, 3+
Yes.
hour conversations. And I'm using 3 hours because that's how long our conversation was with my roommate. Yeah. But once you start doing that, you feel better about yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least I do.
Yeah. So that's the cool thing. I like that exchange because I bet your roommate probably felt a lot better about having that. He's like, I'm so glad homie came to me and that we had
Yeah.
that conversation.
I mean, 'cause
I'm
it's
generally that dude in that
Yeah.
scenario.
Well, it's actually funny because he came to me and he was like, bro, you good?
Okay, so
Yeah.
he's probably similar in that because
Yeah.
when I'm feeling bad, I go help people. That makes me feel good, man.
That's
I'm
good.
like, I'm not feeling great right now. Let me go see someone else that's stressed out.
Right.
And
'Cause
then
it
I kind of
takes-
feel like I'm working through my own stress by actually
Yeah.
helping someone.
Well, it does take the focus off of your immediate pain, and it's like you're focused on something else, something bigger than you.
And even if it's it's like a distraction in that sense, but it's also like in your case, you're going out to help people.
Yeah.
You're not just going out like, oh, I'm gonna go to Hinkle by myself,
Right.
and just like
No.
mess around for 4 hours or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
you're actually going out to create that solution or that I guess solution is a good word
that
for it.
is
Yeah.
the solution
just-
to help
it's-
people to help me.
It's so nuanced,
then-
dog.
Back and
Wait,
forth.
watch
Yeah.
your foot, by the way.
Because say you do go to Hinkle, bro, like that could be helpful depending on your situation, right? Like you could be just like thinking about something so much that you actually just need to like watch a movie or like chill
Yeah.
because there's nothing positive that's going to be happening from that.
Sure.
And I just think like everything, bro, is like so nuanced, and that's why I like to be careful whenever we're like saying things that help us because it could not help somebody else, you know? And it's
true.
like,
Totally.
and that could be like very delicate, bro.
Totally, but
That
that's
is
the
true.
thing also for other people to understand in the information
Yeah.
era is like people are just getting fed stuff all the time.
Yes.
So I think it's important for people to keep consuming stuff and really break it down and create your own thoughts
True.
because everyone is different. Like we're already talking about it right here. So it is understanding your own difference in it by
Right.
consuming all the different perspectives and creating your
Yeah.
own.
I guess I was taking the stance of the person that just takes in all information and is kind of like, that worked for them, that it's going to work for me.
Right.
you
And I
know?
think a lot of people do that and it doesn't, but then they like try to like, they're almost so stubborn where they're like, he said this works and I trust him, but it's like, no, what's working for you, man?
Yeah.
If it's not, maybe we got to pivot and change and that's
Yeah.
okay. Like, that there's certain people I listen to that I respect and stuff. I don't always follow their advice. I'm like, I can't relate to them on that kind of stuff.
Right.
I'm not going to handle it that way.
And that also kind of plays on the topic of like change and being comfortable with change, because a lot of people, at least for me, for the longest time, I wasn't comfortable with change.
Honestly, brother, that's everybody to a certain extent.
Oh,
I agree.
100%.
I agree. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, and it's growing up in realizing that change is good, or it can be good, at least for a little bit, and then
Yeah.
you kind of figure it out from there.
This
you
is
know?
one of my favorite quotes. Change is inevitable. Growth is optional. Everything always changes at some point. You have
That's
the
good.
decision to use it for that future trajectory where you're trying to go to. So it can be, you can have that growth optional, but there are some people that do something so repetitive and they do it for 30 years and they never get different. And then there's someone that comes in, does it for a year, and they're better than that dude because they're in that mindset. You know what I mean?
What was the quote again? Change.
Change is inevitable. Growth is optional.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
It's almost like you can't control what happens, but you can control how you react.
It's it's that. Yeah, exactly. It's your reaction to it. And it's cool to know that life changes, life moves. It's not waiting for you, man. So it's like, are we growing with it? Are we growing through these losses or wins, cuz we're going to have both of them? It's is there a growth? Is there some trajectory that we're headed towards? And I think that's a good mindset to be in, cuz I think a lot of humans think that. We're always trying to go somewhere. People, when you're in a stagnant place, it's like a bad place to be.
Right, you need something to like go towards, bro. A North Star.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I heard this quote too. It's more of like an analogy because it's a longer quote, but it's the analogy of the cow and the buffalo. So when a storm comes, both the cows and the buffaloes know that the storm is coming. The thing is that the cows, they run away from the storm, because of that, it inevitably prolongs the storm that they're in, right? Because they're following the storm essentially. They're staying in this storm.
But they think that they're getting further away.
Exactly. They're like, oh, storm, run away. But the buffalo is like, nah, I'm gonna run into that storm. I'm gonna deal with it head on, and then they're through the storm way quicker, and they resolve it quicker.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's like now you just gotta ask yourself. I mean, not you guys necessarily, but now you just gotta ask yourself, like, am I a cow or am I a buffalo? Am I going to deal with my problems head on, or am I going to stray away from them?
Yeah,
You know?
definitely been both.
I've been both too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we have moments where it's just things are a lot more uncomfortable than other stuff, and that's like the harder ones to overcome.
And how would you know to run towards the storm if you never ran against it? Unless it was a lucky guess.
Yeah, and that's actually one of Gary Vee quotes I like too, is that once you choose a way, you never know what would have been the other route. So that's why you stick with the choices you make, because you don't actually know.
Right.
You're like, this is terrible. This is the worst case. It probably would have been better the other way. You actually don't know that.
You have no idea.
Could have been way worse the other way. You might have chosen the better route. We don't know. And also, don't think about it too much, because that's past
Because
mindset.
you don't know.
No.
Like, I remember him saying that. Like, you don't know if you went to that other meeting. I just hit the mic. You don't know if you went to that other meeting if you would have got hit by like a car or like whatever could happen. It's like you honestly don't know, but you always have to like do your best so that at least that's not a question.
Yep.
Yes.
Right. And also having that like past tense mindset can really bring regret into your life, and that's something that I've had to like overcome, is like not thinking so much about what's happened in the past or even the future for that matter, but staying in the present.
That's where all the power is. Like just literally the only thing that can change the trajectory of your life is like in the moment, what you do in the moment.
Bro.
And they could both be beneficial, the past and future, but if you're really in the mindset, because I think a lot of people do take them in a negative way. The only way I would like really look at the past is just to learn lessons, and that's if I need to. If it's something that's been repeated, you're like, oh, this is familiar. I messed up on this a couple of years ago. I guess we're back here again. Let's remember what we did to handle that and how we reacted, and then try to use that in the future. And that's it. And then I think having the future mindset just helps you set what you're trying to do in the present, because why are you doing it right now?
Right.
Just to create something in the future. But like you can't, if you're too stuck thinking in the future, you never do anything. Yeah.
Right.
Or the past.
Or the
thinking in
past.
general. Like it's like thinking thoughts are like clouds in the sky. And it's like you can't be connected to the like sun energy if like all there is clouds. And all it is like a practice, bro. All it is being familiar with what's going on in your mind.
And
like,
in that analogy, the sun is like the present.
yeah,
Right?
The sun is the present. The sun is the energy that you get from. So you put a lot of energy into thoughts that we don't even realize. And then once you take that energy away, now it can be put somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I think it also represents that.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I like what you're saying, like, create familiarity with things, because that's the feedback. You get consistent feedback, and then you actually become more confident. And by gaining that confidence, now all your future moves, like how chess players play, the really good ones know they're steps ahead, man. They know where they're going. That's what's great about doing 5-year plans. By thinking that futuristic way, you can set yourself up to be, I'm confident. If I do this here, I already know the results because I've done it before. So just the more repetition creates more confidence and just more knowledge on, all right, this is what happens. And when you're knowledgeable about something, you just go on more confident. There's no fear, because you're like, I've seen the results of this. like I know it's gonna happen.
That's a really good point too. And along with that chess analogy too, I actually just recently heard this quote where it was basically like, and I'm not going to be quoting it verbatim, but it's like, what do grandmasters of chess do right when they get to the board? They stare at the board. They literally they visualize what they're going to do, what their opponent might do, what they might not do.
Dude.
And so that can be taken as like, look at the situation that you're in now, look at your chessboard and see what moves you've already played, see where you've messed up, and try to see if you can find another way around them.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's all strategy
Yeah,
in that sense.
and then you can kind of think. I like the thing too you say about thinking about the opponents as well, because then you can kind of create scenarios where if you're more knowledgeable, you're like, if this move happens, how am I going to react to this?
Right.
Then
And
you're
it's-
super prepared.
Yeah, dude, and it's patience. When you get hit with, oh, your opponent just knocked out like your knight.
Right.
It's not like devastating. It's logical.
That's
Okay.
what I would say.
Yeah.
Because there
Yeah.
is the analytical mind, which is thinking a lot in logical scenarios.
Yes.
And you have to. It's obviously a muscle. The brain's a muscle. You
and
gotta
when it's
work
been
it.
years that you think that's the truth, you know, it's gonna take a while to get out of that.
That's true.
That's what it is. But that's a great point to bring up, because a lot of people that are older, if they've thought a certain way for 40 years, you're probably not going to change their mindset. Like, it's going to be
It's like
way
that-
harder because
They'll have to want it.
Yeah,
like
they
that-
have to. It's a better connection, stronger
Exactly.
connection.
It's
Yeah.
like that you can't teach
Sure,
an old
man.
dog new tricks.
The nerves that fire together wire together. So the more that
Mm.
you fire these signals, the more automatic it's going to be, and the harder actually it's going to be for you to make new ones because you've made this such a thing, bro.
I like that quote.
And people want to be comfortable, right? And that's the thing. So once
Yeah.
you've created this mindset you've had for 40 years, you're like, I'm not gonna let this person or whatever change that.
Right?
I'm very stuck in how I'm thinking about things. I've been doing it for 40 years, not gonna change my mindset,
Yep.
which is hard to break out of. And that's like, the change is inevitable. Growth
Yep.
is optional. Because when you get older,
Yeah.
it's good to have that open-minded mindset, but also be like, man, when I was growing up, this, and that, there's certain things that I understand, but to also be open-minded enough to keep growing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Due time. I think that could be an uncomfortable thing just getting older, because you're trying. Now we're in the stage of trying to find, what do I believe in, what do I not believe in. But once those beliefs really start hardening, they become really strong beliefs. Yeah. It kind of changes the whole trajectory of your life.
Yeah, and if you never question your beliefs in your earlier years, in your 20s, 30s, then yeah, dude, it's gonna be not good.
Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
a lot of people do that too. They don't try to think about stuff or come up with a mindset. So some people are in like their 40s and they're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start thinking about this and start doing this, and it's
Right.
like, it's hard, man. You got people with 20
Yes.
plus years on you, dude.
But again, it's never too late. Like, do you want to
Never.
spend another 40 years in the
Yeah.
shithole?
Like,
Or
let's-
do you want to actually make it a little bit
Right.
better, bro?
Yeah,
Right.
and that's it. Like, are we actually gonna grow through this? Are we gonna do something about it? Like,
It's all about taking the initiative.
100%.
Yeah. And especially too, because when you take the initiative, you really, really start to progress. If you're just
Yeah.
doing things based off of emotions, like kind of what we were talking about earlier, there's really no room for growth. Like,
No.
at least that's my opinion. If you're solely acting like, even at work, say you're at work, right, and you're like, say you're selling shoes, whatever, right? And you're like, okay, well, I feel kind of sad today, so I'm not gonna try as hard, or like I'm not gonna be as
Right.
uppity with these customers, and then that affects the outcome of your day-to-day life.
That's actually funny you bring that up, because my question's literally following that. What do you think the purpose of life is? Is it an emotional thing or a logical thing? Because the answer a
So-
lot of people say is happy, and I'm interested on that.
So my answer definitely isn't happy,
Okay.
for sure. It's definitely growth, but also the main one is having a relationship with God.
Okay.
Finding your relationship with God. That's just my personal opinion.
That's your purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's the purpose you would say for your life, and
my
you
life, yeah.
believe for other
Yeah.
people's lives.
Mhm.
Okay. Now is it to create what's the end goal of that? To create a better world for other people,
Mm-hmm.
or to make people's okay? So what is that? Is that making people like better at something, feel a certain way? Like, what exactly is that goal?
So I believe in salvation through Jesus
Okay.
for sure. And I believe that if people aren't, or at least don't try to explore Jesus themselves, then they're going to hell. And that's just my personal opinion.
Okay, so but it's not an actual emotional thing. It's not like a happiness thing, but they're
Yeah.
looking just to be a good person.
Well, there's a difference between being this is what the
Because that's
Bible
I
says.
guess good person.
Right.
Yeah.
So what the Bible says
kinda
is
what- yeah.
no one is good, not one. Everyone has fallen short of the glory of God.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all about being humble enough to explore the option, like being open-minded
Mm-hmm.
to the fact of, because the evidence on Jesus's existence, life, death, and resurrection is insurmountable. I think that's a word.
Okay, Toons, I don't want to
Yes.
get confrontational, but
Yes.
there are many religions around the world.
Sure.
And I have a hard time believing that any one is the truth because everybody has a different region. There's some that's been around for thousands of years, some that haven't.
Right.
Sure.
And everybody has a different idea. So I have a hard time, and I know we talked about this,
Sure.
but I have a hard time with the whole Jesus concept.
Okay.
Because I believe in God, but it's not a person, and they didn't have a son, and it's not a being. It's
Okay.
like everything put together energetically. And I
Interesting.
think if you... So basically, my belief is that we believe different things, but it has the same result, bro.
That's what I'm
we
trying to
both
say.
want to be good people and be present and make the world a better place.
Yes.
And I think it's okay if we get there through different methods.
This is what I'm trying
Okay.
to get at. The purpose of life. What is it? And I think it's for people to have spent a good time here and felt like they were a good person. So whenever you pass on, that you can feel like I lived a good life. I was a
Right.
good person, lived a good life. I think
Okay.
a lot of stuff, I don't know if every religion personally, but I feel like a lot of stuff is at the end of to get to a place or whatever, whatever it is. I feel like people want to feel like they lived a good life, satisfied with the life that they lived,
Sure.
and that they actually helped the people around them.
Sure. So a couple of things, just going off of or answering what you were asking me. John 3:16 states that Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father except through me." So he's literally saying that he is the only way to have a relationship with God.
But what if he's not? What if I feel a relationship with God and I'm not a Christian? What happens
That's
then?
a-
Or what
that's
if
a
you're
good
Mother
point.
Teresa and you're not a Christian? Are you going to hell even though you helped the world become a better place?
So, and that actually ties into what I was going to say as well. Think of it this way. Say you committed a horrible crime, right? But you generally think that you're a good person and other people also think you're a good person. The judge isn't going to be like, "Oh, this guy's a good person, but he killed 20 people. Like, I'll
Okay,
let him
but
off."
I
You know
get
what
you,
I mean?
but what if you never committed a crime? You're just not Christian.
Sure, but this is the thing though, is that like I said, it's in the Bible it states that all have fallen short of the glory of God. We sin every single day. Even like
And
what's
sin
his name?
basically means missing the mark, just so people know.
So sin is anything that God has deemed unholy. So that's anything from idolization, like doom scrolling all the time instead of, like, at least for me, reading my Bible,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So yeah, there's definitely, how was I gonna answer that? So it's like, it's not about the good that you do necessarily. Like, being a good person is just a good quality in general. But in God's eyes, he's judging your heart, right? He's judging like your humility and being able to come to him. You know what I mean? Through Jesus, and that's
Okay.
just my personal opinion.
Sins.
And I respect that, bro.
Yeah, bro.
So sin.
And I do have a question for you. So,
Okay.
and we already have talked about it, but
Mhm.
are you comfortable with other people having different beliefs? Are you okay with that, or do you feel like
yeah.
everybody has to follow your belief?
Yeah. So that's a really interesting question because a lot of people like Hinduism or Buddhism and stuff like that. That's all cool. But I personally believe that the Bible is 100% true.
But okay, I just have a question. Do you think that could have had to do with where you were born? If you were born in India, bro, it'd be
Well,
probably a lot less
a
likely
good
that
point.
you'd be Christian. And my problem is, I don't like it when anybody says that their way is the truth and the only way because there are so many ways and different ideas.
Sure.
So that's the only problem I have is when people are like, this is the only way. If you don't do this, you're screwed. I have a big problem with that.
I think the best way to approach it is to just kind of let people, as long as it makes them happy, because I think the thing is with people is there's a lot of different stuff that for them, even if I don't fall into that religious category and the stuff, I think for me, I'm like, as long as it's a happy thing and people are getting something positive out of it, I can be like, cool,
Yeah,
it's
100%, bro.
not-
If
yeah.
it's working for somebody, I'm happy for them.
Yeah,
Like,
and I
Sure.
think there always is. There's always extremities on everything. And by having some extreme perspectives on stuff, you might even push somebody else into another perspective that ends up working for them. They might be like, I really don't like Christianity. I'm going to try to check something else out. And that might work for them. But as long as it works in a happy way, and I think as long as every religion is trying to be productive in helping society, I think that's great. But I also do think it's cool that people do fully believe in something that hard because I think it actually makes those people's lives enjoyable.
I agree. I just
Yeah.
don't like the feeling of being demonized for having my own beliefs.
Well, and
Oh,
that's,
sure. And,
yeah.
and let me just be
That's fair.
perfectly
Yeah.
clear. I am not doing that.
No, not at
I am
all.
not. There was a good analogy that I heard, or a saying, I guess, that I heard from a Christian pastor who was preaching on the pastor.
That's me, bro.
Yeah.
I literally did this with Dom.
Yeah.
Bro, we had a
Yeah.
pastor moment.
Yeah, bro. And
That's funny.
So he was out, he was preaching on the street to people, and he was getting backlash from people coming up to him and screaming at him and saying like F you, F Jesus, and all this crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so he was saying, one person had said like, how do I know you? Because in the Bible it says that, I'm going to misquote it and forgive me, but it's there's a quote in the Bible where it says something along the lines of, they're good in or outwardly, but they're internally they're ravenous wolves. And basically one of the girls came up to him that he was preaching to, and he was like, how do I know you're not a ravenous wolf? And it's basically what he said was, if someone is playing Beethoven poorly, who do you blame? You blame the player who's playing it bad, right? If a Christian is like you said, demonizing other people for not believing in what they believe in, they're not representing God well.
Yeah.
In that sense, like,
okay,
'cause-
but what's the difference between demonizing and saying that people that aren't Christian are going to hell? Because that's a little demonizing to me,
okay.
right?
So that being said, like, I just 100% believe that the Bible is 100% true. That's yeah.
And that's why I was asking, are you okay that
Yeah.
I have different beliefs?
Everyone
Yeah.
has free will, bro.
Yeah.
And I think as long as you're okay with that.
Yeah, of
That's
course,
the biggest
yeah,
thing.
of
As long
course,
as you're
yeah.
just like, because also when it comes to demonizing, it's a two-way street.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like
That
if
is true.
someone said, "Well, you believe in sucks and you're a terrible person," I'd be
Yeah.
like, "Cool, man."
Yeah, like
Dude,
say,
I've never dissed anybody on anything
Dude,
like that,
you're-
bro.
yeah,
you're-
and I'm
no, I
not
know, you're
trying
not
to
that kind of
either.
person.
I 100%, I'm being 100% honest. I'm
Right.
not trying to.
And that's
either.
just something that we had to get through once you got
Yeah.
into Christianity.
Yeah.
Because like we had to talk about that, bro.
Yeah.
Like in order for us to be friends, you have to be okay with what I'm doing. I
Yeah.
have to be okay with what you're
And that's
doing.
cool, and that's kind of playing into like the being open-minded thing, you know?
Absolutely, it's beautiful. You can have these conversations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
bro.
course.
That's
And
the
like,
freaking coolest thing ever. It's
Yeah.
like-
right.
Well, and that's a good thing about having different people. If we have an audience member that's wanting to look into the Bible and stuff, they're going to do that. And I'm going to offer them a counter. You can meditate and read and get into the
Yeah.
mind in other ways.
Sure.
And it's like, and then you have different opinions. So it's like,
Totally.
no matter what or who you are, there's different ways to go about it.
Yeah,
And,
and I
they're all
th-
positive.
That's what I was about to say. That word you said there, I think at the end goal, it's looking for something positive. You're seeking that positivity, and that's why my life has been revolved around that. That's why I asked that question, because I think that's what I've came down to is I want to be a positive impact on my life and my community.
Yeah.
And I think people that seek Jesus or seek meditation, you're seeking those things because you want to be in a better place to
Yeah.
thus positively impact your life and other people. I think
Yeah.
the fact that people seek those things is a beautiful thing.
Both ways you're
However you
seeking
get there.
a elevated state beyond the one that you're in currently.
That's a good point.
Once you meditate for a certain amount of time, you're going to have distracting thoughts come up. You're going to be okay with that, and you're going to move on. You're going to focus on other things like the breath or other noises in the room.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's going to keep coming along, bro. And then eventually, every time you do that, the bond is going to become weaker to the point where your brain is getting more used to listening to the present side of your brain.
Right.
And then I think that the more you do that, you eventually end up with decent periods of time with no thought, right? Like a few minutes or whatever it is.
And I've been there before too.
And what do you have left once you have no thought, bro? It's just peace.
It was
You're
just
just there.
experience. That was that
Yeah.
blissful just experience. I
It's
was like,
peace.
just
There's nothing to
experiencing
worry
it.
about, nothing
Yeah.
to think about,
Yep.
nothing to even look forward to.
Yeah.
Like it's just literally like nothing.
And it was nice just having a little slice of that. Just for
Yeah,
a moment
bro.
to be like, oh, wow.
Because
Yeah.
in our daily lives, we don't get a chance to tap into that hardly ever, especially with all the technology nowadays. Now it's not quiet time at nighttime. It's turn the TV on, let's watch a movie. It's,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
no quiet
It's
time.
occupy
it's no
our
reflection
mind
time.
rather than just letting our mind do its thing
Yeah,
and like
and-
be calm.
And
Yeah.
we're uncomfortable with not occupying our mind,
Right,
right? So
right.
like we all do it because like we experience less pain and stuff. But by experiencing less pain, you don't know how to get through it
Right.
Yep.
because you just haven't been across it.
Yeah.
And like
no, the experience. Yeah.
So my mom is a therapist, and one of the things she's like my confidant for most things. When one time I went up to her and I was telling her about things that were going on in my life, and she was like, "Sounds like you're like overthinking about a lot of stuff." And so what she was saying is like meditation is really good, and I meditate every once in a while. And when I do meditate, those like distracting thoughts that come in, like, oh, I need to do this today. What I like to do is picture it going into a box and then putting it on a shelf. And just compartmentalizing
Yeah,
those thoughts.
a lot of people
Yeah.
do that. They
I've
do
heard that,
the
yeah.
leaves on a stream. Your thought is a leaf. You put it on a stream and you visualize it
And just
floating away.
floating away. Yeah.
For me, visualizing has worked at some points, but lately it's just been more of a thing of like full acceptance of thoughts, bro.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big like judger of my thoughts. If I have a thought, I'll judge it and be like, dude, because you had this thought, like you're actually like a bad person, bro. Or like this
That's
and that.
that
and this and
internal
that.
self-critic.
All it is giving attention to thought and
Right.
giving power to thought.
Yes.
That's a good point. Yep.
Yeah, just getting the power to that thought versus being like, nah, don't like that one. Gonna actually think about some other stuff. Yeah.
Dude, I have a question. Why has today been so heavy?
I don't know, man.
the fuck, bro?
That's just like that's just been the vibe ever since like even when Drew was here, bro. It's just been like, ugh.
Yeah, before you got here, Drew and I had a conversation, bro. I was almost like crying, dude. Like,
Oh wow, really?
it's been crazy.
Dang, it's been a day then.
Yeah, dude.
It's been a day, bro.
It's been a day.
It up until I got here, it hasn't been like that for me. But I'm up for it, bro.
Welcome
Like
to the
I'm
emotional room.
yeah. Welcome to the
Logic.
Z to A podcast where we talk about everything heavy.
No, it's good though.
All
It's
the
good to
heavy.
be able to go in any direction that
Yeah.
it happens to go in because
Yep.
we don't want to force anything. We want to go along with the rhythm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I think there is definitely a flow thing to that.
For sure.
where It's
Yeah.
kind of just
The
it
only
feels more
reason-
natural.
100%.
It's also cool to plan stuff, especially for stuff like this. Like, think about it this way. Like, I watch the Your Mom's House podcast every once in a while.
Shout out Tom Segura. Shout out Christina
out.
P.
I like how they do like their intro stuff, and then they play like an opening clip, and then they
Yeah.
like play like clips throughout. And the clips they play are just like, what? Like,
Bro, they
why are
have
you
some
showing
very
this?
disturbed people.
Very disturbed.
Could you
people.
call it that? Like the guy that shit in between bread and then ate it.
Oh, I didn't see
That's,
that. Ugh.
I don't
That
know.
sounds
Is there
like
a
something
bar,
Tom
Is there
Segura
a
would
bar
laugh at.
above disturbed?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Bro,
so
so-
every podcast has their niche. Their niche is kind of like disgusting clips. Obviously, it's a lot more to that. But
They're
that's
very
kind of
vulgar
like
too. Yeah.
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 It's
Oh
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I also like there's like some clips that they're not even allowed to show on YouTube. So at the like the bottom of the screen, it's just like
Yeah.
sensitive content or whatever. It's like
I was so hyped the other day when you said that. I was so far away that you said you like Kill Tony
Mm.
because I had no idea, bro.
yeah,
That's
it's
tight.
pretty good.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, there's William Montgomery, bro.
Shout
He's
out, bro.
So
The Big
funny,
Red
bro.
Machine.
The Big Red Machine, bro. The Memphis Strangler, bro.
Vanilla Gorilla.
The Vanilla Gorilla, bro. It's so good, bro.
The Big Red Machine, the Vanilla Gorilla, the Memphis Strangler, the Tijuana Tarantula. This is indeed Lights Out, William Montgomery.
I love when he gets into those like self-deprecating moments because it's
He's
so
very
funny.
self-deprecating,
He's
for
so
sure.
funny when he's like that, bro. It's hilarious, and especially like what is like, he eats like 3 loaves of raisin bread a week or something.
I've been eating now a bunch of the raisin swirl bread.
Oh yeah, he got
not a
off
joke,
of
I just love it.
alcohol and got addicted to HEB raisin swirl bread.
Or is it raisin bread or
it's All-Bran buds.
I am a changed man. This past weekend, I swear to God, I discovered a cereal called Kellogg's Oat-Bran Buds. Tony, I took 4 shits earlier.
All-Bran buds.
All-Bran
yeah.
buds.
Isn't
I don't even
that-
know what that. I've never seen
What-
that in the store.
what
But I think
is
it's like
that?
a wheat, like
It's bread though, isn't it? I swear it. I
Thin
swear it's
wheat
like.
bread.
I knew we were gonna need the laptop.
Oh,
Yep,
there we go.
We're gonna look it up. Dude, it's so funny though. Like there's I'm trying to remember I know there was one joke that he had said that was like I cried laughing. It's funny cuz like I don't usually like I'll get like a chuckle or whatever out of the material he's prepared, but it's more of like during that you've seen
The
Kill Tony.
interview.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm big on comedy, bro.
Oh yeah. I kind of figured you know.
Yeah,
But
you know my
yeah,
comedy,
bro.
yeah.
Hey, bro.
I need to know the best.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie, real quick. Hey,
Oh.
motherfucker.
So I got you, bro. Come on.
It's funny. I like held it up here for like 0.5
Yeah,
seconds,
like,
and
bro,
then I looked away. And
Please
then,
do not give up
Alright.
so early
I'm
next
sorry,
time
bro. I'm
because
sorry. I
I've
forgot.
done it times where I've been like a minute, just like, is he gonna see me?
dude, I've done that.
Committed.
Dude, I've done that around JC so many times. Like sometimes he'll just get in that like flow state, especially like when he's writing and stuff,
Yeah.
or like he says something and I'm like, hey, bro, you know what I mean? I'll just be sitting there like,
Bro, in public, that's so embarrassing. But
It's
when
so
you go
embarrassing.
for it and they just like turn away because like something happened or whatever, and you're just like, oh yeah, how do you get out of that,
You
bro?
gotta turn it into something cool. This is the move, dude.
Yeah.
If you go in and
What
you're
do
like,
you do?
ha, just
stretching. Yeah, you got to play it off.
arms feeling a little weird.
Okay, how about this one?
Yeah.
Hello?
You're like, dude. One thing that I like to do, especially when I'm in public places like a mall or whatever, I'll like be like, say I'm walking with you guys, right, in the mall or whatever. Say Coronado.
Yeah.
We're walking around, we're chatting it up, and I see someone out of the corner of my eye that I'm like, I want to mess with this guy.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, at the last second when he's about to pass, I'll be like, high five, and just see if they do
Oh.
it. Just to see if they do it. It's
Yeah.
so fun, bro.
You know another good social experiment?
Yeah.
Tell people you love them.
Oh, that's a good one too.
I love
bro.
you. like it a drive through.
Yep.
You know, but
Dude, I've done that a couple of times, and it was funny. There was this girl. I was doing DoorDash, and I was picking up this order. Where was it? I think it was like BJ's or something. And the girl, and I'm not saying this to be mean, but she was on the heavier side.
she thick.
She thick, bro.
She ain't fat, bro. She just a little thick.
Yeah, that song, bro. And I picked up the food, and I was like, "Thank you, have a good day, love you." And then she was like completely
Brother,
baffled on what
I think
to
that's
say.
where I got it from. Is because you told me that story.
I think so. Yeah.
And then
No,
I'm like,
you're like, oh, I'm gonna integrate that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
What in the
exactly.
world?
Yeah.
little did I know.
Little did I know.
Okay,
Yeah,
guys,
dude.
I have some breaking news.
All right.
It's a Kellogg's cereal,
Oh my god.
and it looks not great, bro. I'm gonna be totally honest. Raisin Bran looks a little bit more appetizing.
Oh,
All right, let's take a look at
That does
this.
not look appetizing at all.
Let's take a look at this.
dude.
That's almost like
Okay.
Cheerios if Cheerios were like more bland than they already are.
Agreed,
That's how it
and-
looks.
It's like the knockoff of a knockoff Cheerios. Dude.
And brother, once you can make like bread out of a cereal, is it really good? Like at that point, bro,
Well, I in my opinion, I feel
that
like
looks
that
like whole wheat, my
Dude,
guy.
what in the world?
Look at this.
Yeah.
That's not white bread.
So wait, so that bread is made from the cereal?
I mean, I'm gonna guess because it's like under the pictures for the thing.
Shout out All-Bran.
Is it just like
Sponsor us.
Is it just a box of? Is it just a box of wheat? And they're like,
Bro.
throw some milk in there if you want. Like, what?
I'm trying to get like a good visual, bro. Let's check out if anybody.
hilarious.
Dude, funny enough, I actually can get down with some Raisin Bran. I don't
Yeah.
think it's the best thing in the world.
No.
but
Like every
that's way below Raisin Bran, dude.
Gentlemen,
yes. Okay.
it looks like
That-
ground beef.
It looks like ground beef in a bowl. Yeah, I don't like that. There's no milk in there. What are they? Are they just dry spooning the?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
it's just dry cereal, bro. Just spoonfuls of wheat, bro.
No. What cereal could you guys dry spoon, bro, that you wouldn't mind?
Fruity Pebbles all day.
Ooh, that's
Fruity
a good
Pebbles
one.
Off the
is
dome.
my favorite.
Yep.
That's an
I'm
amazing
with you
one.
on that.
Yep.
That
I always
one for
prefer
sure.
that over the Cocoa Pebbles, bro.
Me too. I used to actually, when I was a little kid, bro, I used to be into chocolate cereals, like the Crave chocolate cereals.
yes.
Actually, one time
Isn't
I ate.
that the little wheat thing with the little chocolate?
With the chocolate in the
filling?
middle. I remember those kids
Yeah.
eating each other and all that.
Yeah.
But it's funny though, I can't eat chocolate cereal anymore because one time I ate way too many bowls of Crave cereal, probably like 4 or 5, as a little guy.
That'll do it.
Threw up all over my grandma's kitchen floor.
Yikes,
dude.
And
dog.
ever since then, like anytime I'm like, nope, can't do it.
That's
it's just like,
crazy.
ugh.
Dude, I
It's
literally
just-
have such a similar story, bro.
Do you?
We with Lucky Charms, and I like Lucky
Ooh,
Charms.
yeah.
But me and the homies got really stoned one time, and we had this idea. We got a giant mixing bowl, one of those big silver mixing bowls, and he was like, "Hey man, I'll bet you whatever that you can't eat a whole box of Lucky Charms."
Oh, that's
So I
where it
poured
went
the
wrong.
whole box and a whole thing of milk in this mixing bowl, dude. I don't remember how far I got, but yeah, dude, I threw
Wow.
up just straight Lucky Charms, dude.
Oh my
We just kept
gosh.
smoking. At some point, I was like, dude,
I don't feel good.
not great, bro.
You're like, I'm not sure if I'm
And-
greening out.
And
or-
honestly, I don't know if this is TMI or anything, but not the worst thing to throw up.
oh, I bet it wasn't.
Yeah,
Doesn't
right.
burn. You're just like, ugh.
Yeah, well,
Just
because
warm, like sweet.
It's like a warm rainbow.
yeah, and at that point, like
A
it's
warm,
been in your
dampy
stomach
rainbow.
for a little bit. It's been dissolving a little bit, so it's not as like
Yeah.
crunchy as it was going in. So I can guarantee it's like,
Yeah.
ugh,
yeah.
ugh,
Yep.
gross.
Yep,
I just
I've
wanted
been
to
there,
check
dude.
the,
Can't do Lucky Charms no
Are you
more,
checking
so.
the nutrition?
I wanted to check the fiber content.
I
Dude,
bet
it's
it's
gotta
like
be-
through the roof.
Dude,
Your daily
Wait, where is it,
value is
bruh?
gotta be nuts, dude.
Dietary fiber.
61% of your.
All right. I
Bro,
already
so
know
you're gonna be shitting if you eat this. Just so every
Dude.
viewer knows.
that's a video right there.
Yeah.
We gotta like
Ooh.
eat some All-Bran, dude. Or let's do like the top 3 just worst hated on cereals,
down.
and we
Yes.
just gotta go at
Bro,
it.
it's
Yeah.
so
Like,
bad.
ugh.
Like my subconscious blocks it out. I've never seen that cereal ever, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
We should do
that
that.
frame's just not part
Dude,
of it.
it just
skips
blocks.
that
Yeah.
every time.
Your brain's like, I'm gonna help you with this pain.
yeah, don't
Yeah.
even look. Don't
Yep.
even consider. Don't look, dude.
All right, let's see what's up with this. High fiber, low fat, 8 vitamins and minerals, colors
it?
and flavors from natural
I
sources.
need at least 16 vitamins and minerals for me to eat that.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro, and just look, bro, it's like Raisin Bran. I mean, the box is bland, bro. Like,
It's so bland. It's
at that.
like
They don't even try to make it look good. What is that? A yogurt? What is going on there?
they're trying to make it seem like this doesn't
Super
have to be a
appetizing.
suffer party and you can make a parfait.
You can make a nice, good old parfait. Yeah,
but it's
right,
still
right,
going
right.
to be
like-
kind of a suffer party.
it's like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna use that to make a parfait. Okay.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
honestly.
not regular granola.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna
No,
go out
granola-
to like a bakery
I just
and get
throw
one.
I just
or,
throw
like,
wheat
Ooh.
on my yogurt, dude.
But you guys are going to be
Straight
excited.
wheat. Uh-oh.
Because you can make brownies out of this.
Oh,
No, I don't think I'm excited about that, dog.
Bro,
some
bake
dry
it with
ass
bran.
brownies, bro.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Are you guys sure?
I'm very
Some
sure.
dry,
These
crunchy
rich,
brownies, bro.
dense brownies, bro.
I feel like
Are the
that. I feel like
real-ish.
eating that brownie would be like going to a wheat field, grabbing the wheat, pulling it off, putting water in it, mashing it into a ball, and then being like,
Might as well just throw straight freaking
Yeah.
wheat cloves or whatever
Just
they call it
like
in
a
your
country
smoothie in
boy.
the morning.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, I got the wheat in my mouth.
Well, I'm
You know
not
what
gonna
talking
lie,
about?
bro. I would be really down to get like maybe 10 boxes of cereals, like from like absolute dog trash to
Okay.
maybe even dog cereal to like high end stuff.
I was gonna say, yeah,
You know?
yeah, because I think we might be surprised that All-Bran is
Honestly.
not the bottom. It's
Honestly.
not the
It's-
lowest.
it cannot.
But, okay,
be.
they're just
right,
gonna say
right,
their
right.
marketing makes it seem like this is something you would eat if you're 60 and have medical problems and you need
100%.
fiber.
Dude, I was gonna say too, like, with like eating that cereal, like you gotta be geriatric. There's no way around it. Like us eating that cereal, like
You
what?
have to have at least one physical therapy appointment a week
Yeah.
to eat that cereal.
Oh yeah.
At our age,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
forget
At
it,
least
forget it.
one, dude.
Yeah, yeah, that
I
would
got a
suck.
colonoscopy, dude. I'm just gonna friggin' eat some my
Yeah.
whatever's over here.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
but let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Is a laxative? It's probably better than some other options for like a ton of fiber.
be.
You
Could
know?
be.
Oh,
Yeah.
you could even replace the milk cranberry juice, bro. You go full on cranberry juice with that. With the All-Bran.
Savage cereal, bro.
That's the OG combo. That's what they say,
Oh,
dude. Every OG
man.
you go to their house, they got those right next to each other.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
Dude, I always
Can't go
used to
without
love like mixing cereals too.
Really,
You know what I
I've never
mean?
done that.
Like put a little bit of this, a little bit of
Dude.
that, a little bit of that.
That's
I
actually
feel-
weird. I've never done that either.
Are you
feel
serious?
like
What am
I
I
feel like that
doing?
means you're a psychopath.
I mean, I'm a little crazy, yeah.
Okay. I'm
When
also feeling that, and I'm also feeling like I'm missing out, maybe.
Maybe.
Possibly.
I mean, hey, open-minded, bro.
Yeah.
But I feel
Yeah,
like you're
yeah,
a little
But it could
psychotic.
be a
Do it.
balance.
Try it
both.
before you
be
Before
deny
I
it.
knock it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, well, what's a combo that you did then?
Yeah.
Remember that you
I
would do?
can't think of one, but let me try to think of like some that might be good.
That would be good.
Faking.
Because I feel like you got to go with like sweet and sweet. If you're gonna do like
Yeah.
a cinnamon toast crunch, what are we doing with that? Some chocolate.
That's a
might
good point.
work with it.
Ooh.
We should come
I
up
dig
with some
that.
like flavor combos then.
Yeah, maybe
Okay, how do you
that
guys
could be
feel about
another
this?
one.
Yeah,
I don't know
bro.
if it's good, but Pops and Reese's Puffs.
Wait, Pops.
Yeah.
Like the.
You ever had Pops?
They're just like the corn.
Yeah, literally like
balls.
a corn ball. like,
Oh,
yellow.
like in the yellow box. Is that it? Am I
They had
picturing
like
that
a
It is
correctly?
yellow.
rooster, didn't they? Too corn puffs. Don't they have like a rooster?
But that was probably a while ago, dude. I don't.
They probably changed their branding.
Should we look
Okay.
this up?
Yeah, I can't even think
Look
the
it
last
up,
time
bro.
I actually
Honestly.
ate them. Yeah, I just remember the commercials for Pops kind of. Oh no, it just said Pops and it was just straight up like I don't remember what they tasted like.
Yeah.
Honestly, bro,
Nothing
for-
much.
Nothing much, but for it being like a pretty bland cereal, like it went a long way, bro. You know?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was
Okay, yeah,
picturing.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Never mind.
Not
I'm-
I
bad.
I'm
wasn't
thinking of corn
picturing
puffs.
like the word Pops on there
Yeah.
so big, but yeah, the yellow box is like, yeah.
You know what I just thought of?
What?
Cocoa Puffs and Fruity Pebbles would be pretty nice because they're also the same shape.
Interesting. Well, no, Cocoa Puffs are like the
Oh, my bad.
what?
What was that?
Cocoa Pebbles.
Cocoa
Pebbles,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles.
Cocoa
I
Pebbles.
obviously,
wonder
right?
if that would be good. I feel like there would have to be like a decent ratio though. Like of like what do you think?
Yeah.
Like what would taste better? Like more Fruity Pebbles per capita than the,
I mean, for me.
Yeah, I'm more Fruity
Okay.
Pebble gang.
Yeah.
dude.
yeah, I feel like that would
Yeah.
be my go-to.
Also,
Yeah.
because from what I recall, the Cocoa Pebbles are pretty chocolatey. Like you
They
definitely
are.
get a strong chocolate off.
I
of
just
that.
hope I would.
Yeah, to the point where like when you're at the end of the bowl, the milk is chocolate milk.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
That shit's deep. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
staying
yeah.
in the bowl.
It
It's-
gets there. And then sometimes too, like a lot of the milk doesn't like absorb the chocolate, so there's like chocolate particles on the bottom of the bowl. Love that.
You know what I like to
Love
do
that.
too, bro?
Hmm.
Sometimes is let it soak.
You just let it
Let
soak.
it soak for a little bit, bro.
You might be psycho.
Yeah, you might be a little psycho, right? You gotta eat your cereal crunchy. Wait,
I feel
hold
the
on.
judgment.
Question of the century.
Yeah.
How do you prepare your bowl of cereal? Give me step-by-step
I
directions.
forget. There's these things. It's
There
like
are
to
these
the
things.
Cereal first.
toothpaste on.
Okay, he said cereal first. We're good.
Cereal first.
We're good.
For me.
I am
Milk
also,
first, psycho.
Okay, good. I'm also a cereal first.
yeah.
Pouring just a bowl of milk,
Bro,
just
and
off
then-
rip
Bro,
feels weird.
how are
to
you
me.
gonna drown it, bro?
Yeah, how are you gonna get
How are
the
you
right
gonna
amount of cereal?
immerse?
I feel like I
'Cause,
can't get the right ratio
Yeah,
either doing it that way.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's like, because like you already have a forethought, like, oh, I want cereal. Okay, how much cereal do I want? I want this much. put the cereal in there. Okay, I want that much. All right, how much milk should I put in here now?
Oh.
So it's like more of like you're calculating like what's like the good ratio of milk to cereal.
You ever
now,
do
know?
this though?
What's up?
You're thirsty, so you just pour a bunch, drink it, and then eat cereal.
I typically I don't drink it first and then eat the cereal. I eat the cereal and then I drink it.
It is good
Yeah,
that way too.
yeah.
Yeah.
What I do actually is
it.
so I'll pour a good amount, make sure it's drenched, it's in there.
Yes.
Generally, you're gonna finish the cereal before all the milk's gone.
Yeah.
That's when I'm using that, and I'm pouring more into that already used milk. I'm getting a lot more use out of my milk,
See,
and by
that's
the time I don't
acceptable.
have a lot of milk to drink, but I'm also not a broth kind of guy. I don't also just like to drink the
Right.
milk straight
Yes.
up.
Sure,
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
But that's acceptable though because if you're putting
my
milk,
Okay.
yeah. All right, we're good. You guys are good in the
I've been
Neptunes
stressing
department.
about
all
that one.
Yeah,
Thank you,
bro. No, because it's like at least that's just like my opinion, bro. It's like that first bowl, cereal first, milk next. But for the second bowl, if you still got some leftover milk, just put the cereal
See,
in
that's
there.
the only time I will do cereal
Yes.
into milk. Is
Yep.
I got it
Yes.
left over, and
Yep.
I'm like, it's
Yes.
already seasoned too, man. It's like when you do cooking, if you're chefing certain stuff, you leave some of that like bacon grease left over and certain stuff.
Exactly.
And you cook the next
And then you
stuff in
put
there.
the eggs in
Yeah.
there, bro.
Do
Like,
you guys think that they could like tell your personality type off of that stuff?
Well,
Like whether you pour it first or last,
Well,
or
I
like
did
what
just-
type of like.
I did just
man.
automatically
It's
judge
like you're a
you.
goon, bro, 100%.
I just
That's 'cause
automatically
you're
called
good.
you a psycho for like doing that. So
Yeah, I guess his perspective on it. Yeah.
yeah, of course.
You're actually crazy.
You're a
seek
psychopath.
seek medical attention immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
Immediately.
Go to a therapist right now. Like, stop.
I wonder if there are some that is just like okay, because there's some examples I've seen of those that some are very interesting to me. Okay, I don't know the toothbrush one. You guys heard of that one?
The shower.
So toothbrush, do you wet your toothbrush and then put toothpaste, or do you put toothpaste and then wet your toothbrush?
I do
with the
toothpaste wet.
toothpaste?
I've honestly done it every way possible. I don't know what's normal. Maybe toothpaste first and then water, but sometimes
I've
it's
always done it
different,
that
man.
way. But the reason I bring this up is because I just remember like those things I don't think of. I don't think of
Yeah.
until I
Sure.
see some weird TikTok or some weird
Yeah.
Instagram that's like, I do it this way. Why does everyone do it this way? And I'm
Right.
like, huh?
And then that video
Yeah,
blows
dude.
up, and you're like, "Why is this getting so much traction?"
Bro.
Oh, it's because no one talks about it.
Okay,
You know what I
this-
mean?
It's
Yeah.
actually this is a
That's-
thing.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about with like the toothbrush in the shower. I don't mean to offend anybody out there, but let's be honest, baby. You're gonna be doing body wash, shampoo. There are airborne particles that are gonna get on your toothbrush and that are gonna end up in your mouth.
Yeah.
So why?
That's
Why, bro?
That's
Okay.
why I keep my toothbrush as far away from the toilet as possible.
I like
that's
that.
good
I
point.
really do think of these things.
Yeah,
I
I
have
think
one of
these
those
things too.
little things that go over the toothbrush
Yeah.
always. And I remember as a kid not really having that, and then for some reason someday snapped, and I'm like, this is just in the bathroom. There's weird particles. going on.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't like-
true.
I
And
don't
plus,
like that.
I saw this video of this experiment of flushing the toilet after you've gone number 2. Why'd I call it number 2?
I've seen that
yeah,
video.
between like with the lid down and the lid up, and how many particles
was
fly
just
into
like,
the air. Oh,
boom.
Yeah. See, okay, this is another thing, bro.
What's up?
When you take a crazy dookie in the bathroom and it smells bad,
Hmm.
do you guys leave the seat up or down? Because I feel like there's methods to each. If you leave it up, the scent is going to disperse faster. Because sometimes when people leave it
Interesting.
down, you're just going to lift it up and it's going to be awful.
This is
And
something
if you
I
leave it
haven't
open, it has room.
Mm.
So that's always something I've wondered is like a lot of people do the courtesy thing of leaving it down just so immediately it's not a problem. But I don't know if it makes sense.
The way I think about it, at least, because I haven't thought about that ever. I'm just being
Me
straight
either.
up.
Now
I
I'm
have-
actually really
yeah.
thinking about this.
I could
yeah.
give you guys like 10 more of those if you want.
The way I'm thinking about it is if you have the toilet lid closed and then you flush, there's an automatic vacuum that it's gonna suck the air that's in the toilet
All of
already.
the air?
Yes.
It might not be all of the air, but it's gonna get at least most of it. You know what I mean? Because
I
like
could see that. I
that
could see
lid's
that.
closed.
Yeah.
And so like obviously with how like air works, we have like say there was like a
Wait, it's not air, it's water though, eh?
well, no, I'm just talking about like the smell, like the air
Oh.
particles.
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
the
okay.
particles in the air. Like if you think about it this way, like if you were to blow through like a cone or
Yeah.
whatever, if you blew from the small end to the big end, you're not going to have like any air pressure, right?
Right.
But if you blow from the wide end into this narrow end, it's going to be a lot more pressurized. And when you have the lid closed, there's less. There's more of like a narrower entrance for it to, so it's like
Yeah.
more of the air is getting like sucked in. I don't know. That's how I was.
I'm actually on that same boat. That's funny you say that. I was gonna pull a Zombieland and say double tap. That's what you do after you do a second flush with what you're talking about. Lid closed, all the air suctions pulling it back in. So after you let the water settle and you hit it, you hit another.
Wasting water.
I'm pretty sure you
everyone
guys are
flushed
right.
twice.
I mean, I
Pretty
don't know.
sure, but I'm not sure.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm
Because
not a
also
scientist.
leaving it open means that it just can go anywhere, but that also means you're gonna smell up everything around. So like, that's bad.
But then you got the fan.
And
you know,
Febreze.
And Febreze.
Let's be honest.
The things that this is one thing I've always thought about in public restrooms.
Oh.
They don't got no top lid, bro.
They
And
don't.
the other thing they have in those places that I don't like to use is they have the hand dryers.
Yeah, bro.
That air is taken from in the bathroom and warmed and sent
brother.
back.
I
through.
haven't
I've
even
always been a paper
thought
towel
about
guy.
it.
Me too. If they don't
Yeah.
have paper towels, I'm like,
Like I'll use a
fuck it,
Dyson if I
whatever.
have to.
yeah.
But
I'll do those
But
cool
even
ones that are
then-
the circle. I trust those
You're
more
just
for
like,
whatever reason.
wash my
But,
balls.
but even at that point, like even if they don't have paper towels and it's just the air dryer, I'm just like, I'm not doing that. Like I'd rather my pants be
Bro,
wet.
yeah, let's be
Absolutely.
honest.
I'm doing
Yeah.
the wipe.
This
Yeah,
is
I'm
a
good.
second like dry rag.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
That's
just like,
kinda
all right, let
gross.
me
Yeah,
use my
yeah.
shirt real quick. Like, who cares?
I'm
like,
with
your
you,
shirt's
bro.
gonna dry.
I'm with you on that.
It's true.
Yeah, and you're
100%.
getting less crap particles on your hands. Like it's just
Yeah.
And it just never works great anyways.
Yeah.
I feel like hand
Yeah.
dryers just kind of suck.
Well, and I think
'Cause
we're
you're
a
there
little bit-
forever and it's just like,
Well, go
basically.
ahead.
We're paranoid about particles in some ways and not in other ways, right? Like a
Yeah.
phone has way more
True.
bacteria particles than a toilet
Yeah,
seat, but
that
we're
is
more
true.
tripped out about a toilet seat just because of its aspects, whatever.
Totally.
because it comes from the ass.
Right.
like most of
Right.
it.
But
you know what
phone
I mean?
is like probably everything.
It's
bro.
everything.
You'll touch,
Yeah.
Like that. There it is.
you'll touch the mic, you'll touch your hair, you'll touch your body.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's
Yeah,
like the
that's a good
thing
point.
where they say fast food and the stuff, it's like not to worry about the cups and the stuff necessarily. It's to worry about the ice. The thing that people don't
Or like the
sometimes think about
lemons
is how
in restaurants.
freaking dirty those things are.
Yeah.
Right. Which is probably good not to go too far down that route because
Right, 'cause
I've
you can
seen
get
some
crazy.
germaphobe stuff on like the TLC and all that, and I'm like, I don't want to be that person.
And dude,
Yeah,
once
bro.
you take it too far and avoid too many germs, then your immune system goes down and then you're more susceptible to any sickness.
Right, because
That
like
is
when
true.
we were like little kids, you're eating dirt and
Yeah.
eating whatever, it actually built your
Bro,
immune
so-
system.
Eating crayons and freaking yeah, bro.
I don't second this, but Steve-O, like, I heard that he just doesn't wash his hands, bro.
Ugh, really?
But he's like, he never gets sick.
Well, it's probably because he's been building up his immune system for like
Yeah.
He's got
50
everything
years.
already in him.
That
That
too.
oh, can imagine some new disease or someone's trying to knock at the door and they're like, "Oh, you're already here. My fault. I'm
yeah,
good."
I'm gonna head out.
Like, hey, we good in here, man, and everything's
Yeah.
cool. Not a bad place to stay in this dude's body. We honestly just kick it.
The bouncer, like your immune system, like bouncer, if you could call it that, is like,
Come on
well,
in.
chlamydia, you're already here, so
You've already been checked off the
You're
list, bro.
good.
Yeah. You've
Yeah.
been VIP.
We can't get any more. Yeah, yeah.